So, about a year ago, I went on a big sailing trip around the Northern Isles of Scotland, specifically around Shetland, Fair Isle, and Orkney. On one of those days, we docked at the Isle of Stronsay. It has a population of less than 350 people, and on this particular day, all the fog and the slight rain made it even more desolate and mysterious. The town that was right off the dock was essentially just one long street with a couple of shops, really just one shop, one cafe, and a couple houses. After that, the road just continued on into the desolate fog and endless abyss of this island. As part of the tour I was on, me and the rest of the sailors I was with were given these e-bikes to essentially just have the whole day to open world explore this island. I was ecstatic, basically given this big playground like Skyrim or Zelda just to explore on my own pace. Now, as a good little capitalist, my first goal was to find a cool shop to spend my money at. Looking at the paper map they gave me, all I could really find was one possible shop that I could try to find, the Airy Fairy. I began my quest riding into the endless field of cows and grass and even more fog. Every once in a while, a little splash of color would let me know I was on the right way. A little rock with A and F or a full sign with the Airy Fairy name spelled out on it. When I made it to the final location of where it was supposed to be, I was met with a almost seemingly abandoned farm and a really beautiful house next to it, but seemingly just a house. And I'm already a stranger on this island, I don't want to go knocking on people's doors. I kind of wandered around this farm for a bit, looking at all the cows and the buildings, and kind of gave up and was deciding to go look for something else. But as I was giving up and leaving, two people emerged from the fog and walked towards me. Honestly, it was really scary, but they ended up being really nice, and also the children of the owners of the Airy Fairy. It was in fact real, and I was in the right place. They walked me back to that beautiful house I mentioned, and it did turn out to in fact be a house. But in the attic, it was the Airy Fairy. I was offered coffee and welcomed into their home and brought up to the shop. The whole place was so welcoming and warm against the cold fog outside, and the whole shop just felt so homey. The owner briefly guided me through her shop, showing me all the things she did. Mostly it was like crochet and sewing and quilts. And although I didn't have a daughter back at home to buy a really beautiful dress for, I was able to buy a little apple just to show my appreciation and, again, be a good little capitalist and spend my money. And I actually have the apple right here. It's like a little sewing apple. It's very cool. It has little cats on it, this cool little leaf. And I even kept on the tag, which of course says Airy Fairy. This was handmade in Orkney by Hazel Shear, and she was just so lovely, and it was really amazing just to be in this endless expanse of mystery and to be welcomed into a home after riding on my bike. It was really just really amazing. And to make it even better, when I finally left, they let me ride through their farm on the way to my next destination. My next destination on my quest was going to be a scenic one, essentially this land bridge that went over this big cliff over the sea. It is known as the Vat of Curbister. I don't really know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's what the sign says. So, when I made it there, I walked a little bit away from the scenic part of it, and I found a post, and I tied my phone to it with all sorts of hair ties just to get it to stand. And I hit record. Using this masterful technique, I was able to get pictures of myself as I walked across the bridge doing cool little poses, which mostly just kind of include like this, and then this is kind of my go-tos, and this sometimes. I did like kind of fall down when I was going over the bridge, which looking back could have been really perilous and a little funny to have a video of that happening. But you know, when you're doing this yourself, be careful. Ideally go with people, but I didn't really have that choice, so it's fine. It's fine. Content, right? Yeah. After making a quick sketch of the scene in my journal, I finally walked all the way back with my bike before getting back to the road where I could continue my quest. Now, the Isle of Stronsay is also known as the Isle of Bays, and I figured I have to at least check out some of the bays while I was there. I'm also like a huge sucker for just like big bodies of water. So just the North Sea above Scotland, I just find so beautiful and so mystical, mysterious, cool, and adjectives that I'm coming up with. Musical? Oh, well, I mean, could be. Upon reaching one of these bays, I was immediately hit with this sense of melancholy. This... It's really hard to describe, truly, but magical, I suppose. There was a peace in the endless abyss of water and fog and sand I found myself in, and I kind of just laid down there for a while and just listened to the waves and the occasional seagulls. I just took some moments to feel the cool breeze and the surprisingly warm sand on my body, and took a little stroll and again used my iconic set my phone to record and walk around for a bit technique to get some cool footage. It's moments like this that I remember most from my travels, and especially with an island like this, just this solitary melancholy that brings such a sense of peace to me. I don't know. I find that there is beauty in desolation. Eventually, I resumed my journey, determined to explore the entire island before we left on our boat in the morning. Among the sea of cows and grass and more fog, I managed to find a small airport on the island. Past that, there was a fork in a road, and my maps were not overly detailed on where they each led. However, a cat appeared in the road and seemed to signal me towards the one on the left. So I decided to, at this point, spending a whole day by myself, follow the cat's advice. I rode on down the street for I don't even know how long, and finally I arrived at a farm with a whole lot of sheep. And as I reached the end of the road, all the sheep kind of seemed to get mad at me, so I decided to head back. At this point, it was starting to get late, and an even denser fog descended on the isle. I was growing weary and, frankly, pretty lost just biking down these roads. However, the Isle of Bays beckoned me one last time, and I figured I should hit one more bay before heading back to the ship. This ended up being really worth it, because as I was met with another melancholic abyss above me, right straight where I was looking, the sun emerged and lit up the whole bay. This point really, truly did feel magical. I was in the right place at the right time, the right circumstances, and it was just very beautiful. I watched the sun slowly dim back into the fog for a while, and now, it being really pretty late, I decided to finally head back. After a while, I finally returned to that one street town that our boat was docked at. I returned my bike to the shipping container with the pictures of bikes on it, because, that felt right. I didn't get the footage for this, but strangely, upon arriving back in the town, it was alive. There were people about, there seemed to be some kind of party going on, and everyone on the island was seemingly invited. Except for me, I was so... A part of me wishes I'd stuck around and asked what was going on and gotten more information about it, but the fact that that memory still is with me without any evidence to show for it kind of sums up the experience of the island for me a little bit. That through this mysterious foggy island that we only managed to get to on a sailboat, that there could be such community and such warmth. A warmth that I had felt at the Airy Ferry and still feel when looking back on those memories. I also got to talk to the locals when I was at the one cafe that was on the island, and I tried beans and toast. It was okay. The picture makes it look like really not that good, but no, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. Stronsay was only one of my many stops on my journeys through the Northern Isles of Scotland, but it really does have a very special place in my heart. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry it's been a month since I uploaded. I've been moving, and speaking of that last upload, I'm so happy that it's doing really well. I think I just hit a specific niche with like Yakuza in Japan. Unfortunately, I have like no more Yakuza content I can really make, so kind of guessing this video is gonna flop. But it's important to me. It's a story that's really special to my heart. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want. I'm hoping to make a lot more videos now that I'm kind of settled here, upgrading my equipment, using a camera and all that. But yeah, just thank you so much for being here. Comment if you want any more content of any kind. I'm kind of just doing whatever. And yeah. See you. Upon reaching one of these bays, I was immediately hit with this sense of melancholy.